Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nobody.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Well, this is starting to get fun for Yankees fans. Jesus. This is starting to get fun. And that was not a Juan Soto reference. That was a Knicks reference. The Yankees are playing some really good ball. They just won another series. Okay, they have improved to 30-19 overall, which is a .612 win percentage, putting them 5 games up over Toronto. I think Boston dropped to third place because they suck. Really, it is the AL East. It's just the Yankees who are good, and everybody else is just nothing. So 5 consecutive series wins for your first place Yankees, where they've won 11 of 14 during that span. That's a .786 win percentage. They are currently on a 4-game win streak overall and have just swept the Texas Rangers at Yankee Stadium before they head out west. I think the very important game in this series was that middle game. I think most of us would have been okay had the Yankees lost that game and said, all right, you took 2 out of 3 and you lost the DeGrom game, right? But the Yankees found a way to take the DeGrom-Yarbrough game, and they sweep today with Colorado coming up next. So they have a really good chance here to make this a 7-game win streak if they're serious. But, yeah, things are going well. And, you're starting to think about this team and their long-term chances this year. And, we give crap all the time on this show to Aaron Boone, to Brian Cashman. But, when we're thinking about the New York Yankees and their chances at making a World Series run, it does feel like this team is better built for a run in October. And it sounds crazy to say that because they're coming off a season where they got to the World Series, and it's kind of hard to say you got better, but even last year's team, I didn't love their bullpen. I didn't like their lineup depth. With Judge cold in October, the offense went cold, right? It was basically just Stanton and Soto carrying the weight, and Judge had moments. But if Aaron Judge wasn't clicking, the offense wasn't going. It was just Stanton and Soto who had to carry the weight. It just feels like this year there's a lot more there. And this year's team, with health and some upgrades, of course, I feel like they have the lineup. I feel like the pen has what it takes. I think it's a bullpen with elite swing and miss stuff. I think the bullpen has some depth. I think Weaver, though, is an elite closer at the back end. I'm confident Devin Williams will be okay at this point. So I think the back end of the bullpen is outstanding. Jonathan Loizaga returning, I think, is big. If he can stay healthy, big if. The rotation seems to be rounding into form. Fried and Rodon have been outstanding. Luis Heel is a big piece to the second half. Clark Schmidt and Will Warren have been solid. And again, your lineup. This lineup has been one of the best offenses in baseball. Power, depth, left-handed hitting. And if Stanton gets healthy for the second half, he's going to bring much needed right-handed power. And I think the Yankees are better on the bases. They're scoring runs, creating offense on the bases. Didn't get to say that in the past. And defensively, I feel like they've been doing their job too. Really, really good defensively in certain spots too. Like Bellinger's been outstanding. Judge back in right field has been very good. Volpe's been up and down, but he's been better lately. I think Peraza's been flashing his leather. We will talk about that. Goldschmidt's been solid. It's been good. So, yeah, it just feels like, and that's what we're going to dive into in this show, just feels like the Yankees are better built this year. And so that's what we're going to discuss. But before we do, we did skip last episode, the Mets Subway Series win that we had over the Mets. I was not able to record. As much as I wanted to get on here and gloat and be cocky and act like a classic asshole Yankees fan, I just had a lot going on. I was busy, couldn't get to it. And of course, with the New York Knicks choking in the playoffs, we've been busy covering them. But I will hand out our awards there, tip our caps from that series to Fried, Bellinger, and Williams. So those guys, I tip my cap to them from the Mets series. But this Texas Rangers sweep, we will get into it right now. Go over the series, talk about some storylines and things like that. So with that said, we're going to head to a quick break, get back, and get right into the show after that. Stay with us here on episode 868 of the podcast. Be right back on BD4. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Okay, welcome back to the show. Let's talk about this one, man. The first game of the set took place on Tuesday, where the Yankees took a 5-2 win over the Rangers. You had Will Warren going up against the lefty Patrick Corbin. Yankee bats in this game scored 5 runs on 9 hits, hit 2 home runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, grounded into 1 double play, but they were 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position and also had a sac fly. Against Patrick Corbin, the Yankees got 3 runs on him in 5 innings that he pitched. The Yankees started things off in the bottom of the second. Ben Rice with a solo home run. Then Rice picked up a sac fly, bottom 4. And then bottom 6 against Webb, Volpe picks up that bloop double that drops into center field. It goes on Corbin's line, puts the Yankees up 3-0. And then the Texas bullpen comes in, and the Yankees crack 2 in 3 innings against them. That was all from Judge in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-run shot, his shortest. It made it 5-0. Judge goes 2 for 4, the home run, 2 RBIs. Rice goes 2 for 3 with a home run, 1 sac fly, 2 RBIs. Grisham goes 2 for 4. Goldschmidt goes 1 for 3 with a walk. And Peraza in this game made an outstanding, phenomenal play. Jeter-esque coming from third base, going back to the tarp there, going back on an angle to catch a fly ball, dives right into the tarp. He's in between the tarp and the seats, the netting. His legs are straight up in the air. The ump comes and checks to see if he catches the ball. He shows the glove, balls in the glove. Great catch. That was on the top of the 6th inning on Tuesday. Will Warren finishes his night very strong. We will talk about his outing a little later in the show. And the bullpen goes 3 1/3, 2 runs. Leiter got the rest of the 6th and all of the 7th. He finished up with a line of an inning and a third, no runs, no base runners, 2 strikeouts. Devin Williams got the 8th, 1 inning, no runs, 2 strikeouts. He worked out of a 1-out jam. He surrendered a hard hit double to Langford, 106 miles an hour off the bat. Then he gets Young to strike out swinging. He goes 3 straight off speed to a fastball on the outer edge, gets him. And then he gets Garcia to strike out swinging, going 5 consecutive off speed, followed by 2 fastballs over the top of the zone for strike 3. Hamilton comes in after that. Hamilton started the 9th, but he was absolute trash once again. Finishes his night 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs, 2 hits, a walk. He surrendered the Haggerty double, and then Jonah Heim with a 2-run shot to make it 5-2. That's when he gets pulled for Luke Weaver, who has to come in and finish the game. Gets the pop-up. But that was the Yankees' win on Tuesday. Again, 5-2. On Wednesday, the Yankees won this game 4-3. This was yesterday. Ryan Yarbrough goes up against the righty Jacob deGrom, who has just been, he really hasn't missed a beat. Yarbrough was solid, though. He matched him for as long as he could. 5 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, which was a nice surprise. 1 home run surrendered, 81 pitches. He was landing first pitch strikes all night. Loved that. He was consistently ahead in the count, working the outer edges of the plate, dropping those backdoor breaking balls in there for strikes, change-ups and curveballs and sweepers, and just getting a lot of soft contact, using his arm angles to get outs, and really just made that one mistake. Top 5, Jake Burger kind of lost the zone with his cut fastball on him, threw him a bad one after a couple of bad ones to start the at-bat, and gives up the solo home run to tie the game at that point, 1-1. But that was it. He rebounded, finished the inning strong, and he's been good for the Yankees. He's been versatile, and he's been doing a nice job preventing runs. So, good for Ryan Yarbrough. The bullpen, 4 innings, 2 runs. Loizaga was a bit shaky in the 6th. Base hit, walk, hit batter. He gets pulled for Tim Hill. Hill was pretty bad in the 7th. He gave up the home run to Jake Burger. Texas goes on top 2-1. Hamilton was bad yet again in the 7th inning. Haggerty hits the home run to make it 3-1 Rangers. So his final line, 1 inning, 2 hits, a home run, 1 run. He needs to figure it out. We'll see. De Los Santos, he pitched in after that. He worked out of trouble after working into trouble in the 8th inning. Gave up 3 hits, loaded the bases with a walk, but he escaped it. So his final line, 1 inning, no runs, 1 strikeout. And then Weaver was perfect in the 9th. Offensively, the Yankees got 4 runs on 5 hits, 2 home runs, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts, and they were 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Against deGrom, they scored 2 runs in 7 innings. Bottom 2nd, DJ LeMahieu with an RBI ground out. That made it 1-0 Yankees. Bottom 7, down 3-1. Cody Bellinger jacks one to right field. 3-2, cuts the lead to 1. And then against the Texas bullpen, the Yankees get the damn thing done with 2 runs in an inning and 2/3. It's the bottom of the 8th inning. Aaron Judge, the game-tying RBI base hit, ties the game at 3. And then bottom 9, Jason Dominguez steps up to the plate from the left side. Walk-off home run, second deck, 4-3 Yankees win. It was just an awesome moment. That was his lone hit in the series, but nice to see that. We will talk on Jason Dominguez later. Bellinger goes 2 for 4. Judge 1 for 3 with a walk. Volpe 1 for 3 with a triple. And that was your Game 2 victory. Again, that came on Wednesday? What's today? My days are all fucked up. That came in Game 2. And then you get to today, Thursday. Yeah, that was Wednesday. Okay. So you get to today, Thursday, the Yankees win 1-0 over the Rangers. Carlos Rodon against Nathan Eovaldi. 1 run for the Yankees on 5 hits, 2 extra base hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. They were 0 for 3 in scoring position. The 1 run in the 6 innings that Eovaldi pitched, 6 innings, came in the bottom of the 5th when Yorbit Vivas pulled a leadoff home run to right field. He jumped first pitch fastball, got a hold of it, put the Yanks up 1-0. Nice level swing. I like the kid's at-bats. I think he's going to be a pretty good hitter. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter for this team, but I think he has a career in the big leagues. Nice big league contact hitter would be nice to have on this team. You know, he goes 1 for 1 with a home run, and he also reached on a catcher's interference earlier in the game. The Texas bullpen, they scored no runs on them, the Yankees, in 2 innings. But Peraza goes 1 for 3 with a double. Grisham goes 1 for 4, as does Goldschmidt. Judge goes 0 for 3 with a walk. That was all you had offensively. Rodon, 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, 105 pitches. Carlos Rodon, really good once again. He continues to do his thing. And what I like is he continues to become a pitcher. Right? When he first came here, fastball, slider. That was really it. Slowly incorporating other pitches. And that's what you saw in this outing. Picked up a lot of strikeouts with each of his 3 key pitches today. Slider, fastball, changeup. He was 38 sliders today. He leaned into that pitch a lot. Worked really well for him. Got a lot of whiffs. Threw 37 four-seam fastballs. I thought he was spotting that pitch very well at the top of the zone. 21 changeups, which has just become a killer pitch for him against righties. And 9 curveballs. Drop that in for strikes. It's usually his get me over pitch. But he did a really nice job just, again, mixing pitches, changing speeds, changing eye levels. And so you look at it now, in the last 7 outings for Carlos Rodon, 42 2/3 innings, 52 Ks, and a 1.48 ERA. So he's slowly becoming the ace that he was paid to be. You know, his fastball this season has become a good pitch again. It hasn't been a good pitch with the Yankees, but he's starting to find better results with the four-seam fastball. The slider has always been a good pitch for him. It's developing into one of the best sliders in the game from a lefty. It's a really good pitch for him. And I think a big reason his fastball-slider combination has been such a powerful combination is because he's mixing that in with other pitches. Right? And the movement and the spin that he's getting on his pitches this year has been very good, especially the vertical break that he's getting on his pitches. His fastball, his slider, his changeup has a lot of drop. He flashes in that sinker here and there. He's getting chases. He's getting swings and misses. He's avoiding hard contact, which I think is a big reason why his home runs per 9 is the lowest it's been so far as a Yankee. 0 home runs allowed in 3 of his last 4 starts. Knock on wood. So Carlos Rodon turning into a very strong pitcher for this team, now with a 2.88 ERA across 10 starts this year. The bullpen in this game, 3 innings, no runs. Mark Leiter was the first in relief. Worked into and out of trouble in the 7th inning there. He gave up the leadoff ground ball base hit through the infield off the bat of Marcus Semien. And then Jock Peterson with a 2-out base hit eventually steals the base. So you got second and third, but he strikes Smith out swinging, goes curveball, and then he goes 3 splitters out after that, gets him to strike out. So that's how he ends the inning. 1 inning, 2 hits, but also 2 strikeouts, no runs. Devin Williams continues to do his thing. He worked a perfect 8th inning, 1 inning, no runs, 1 strikeout. And then Luke Weaver, another just 1, 2, 3, 9th inning there. That's where I want to start. I want to start by tipping my cap to Luke Weaver from out of the bullpen, because the guy has been incredible to start the season for the Yankees. And in this series, he appeared in all 3 games. The Yankees usually don't go to their relievers 3 times in a row. Luke Weaver pitched all 3 games, combined for 2 1/3 innings, no runs, 1 strikeout, got 2 saves, also got a victory. So that was just, it was really easy work for him. You know, he came in on Tuesday, 2 pitches. You know, he gets Smith to pop up to DJ LeMahieu at second base. On Wednesday, didn't strike anybody out, but he got a quick 1, 2, 3 inning. And then today he was perfect again. 1 inning, no runs, no hits, no walks, 1 strikeout, gets the save. Clipping the edges with his fastball, and then he spots that changeup to get that strikeout there. Just his control and command have been impeccable. He's got impeccable command. He can spot that fastball anywhere he wants. You set up the glove on the outer portion of the plate, low and away, he's going to pinpoint that. It's really fun to watch. And when you have 96 mile an hour paired with an elite changeup with great fade, it's almost impossible for a lefty to hit that. Luke Weaver's been awesome, and he now has 4 tips of the cap to start this season, which somehow seems like a low number for a guy with a 0.44 ERA on the season in Luke Weaver. I'm sorry, that's down to 0.40. A 0.40 ERA. Look at that whip. A 0.53 whip. So he's allowing half of a base runner per inning. That's crazy. Luke Weaver's been outstanding. Good for him. And while we're on the topic of pitching, let's tip our caps to another pitcher here, and that will be Will Warren. Man, I really like what we're getting from this kid now. I was high on him at the very start of the season, and I'm glad the Yankees are sticking with him. He pitched in Tuesday's game, the middle game of the set. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he pitched the first game. Sorry, the first game of the series. Yeah, Tuesday. And he goes 5 2/3, no runs on 5 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, 101 pitches, gets the win. Yeah, you can see it. He's got good stuff. There's tons of movement on the pitches he throws. You know, the stuff's just, it's good. 60 strikeouts on the season in 46 2/3 innings tells you that hitters are having a hard time picking his stuff up. You know, that's 87th percentile in K rate and almost 70th percentile in whiff rate, which is really good. The sweeper and sinker, that's a great tunnel combination. You know, the sweeper gets a ton of whiffs. It's got excellent glove side action. He continues to land those backdoor 2-seamers to righties. You know, he had that strikeout looking to Marcus Semien to end the night. He's behind 2-1 on him. Goes sweeper low in the zone. Semien fouls it off. And then he throws a 2-2 2-seamer at 95 mile an hour backdoor and upstairs. And he gets him a strikeout looking. Freezes him. The 4-seam fastball has, you know, it's consistently netting some really excellent results. He's elevating that pitch to make it tough to hit. So even though it's got low velocity on it, you know, he only averages about 93 with it. It's the high spin rate that'll make it play up. And when you throw a pitch that spins as much as his four-seam fastball spins and you go up in the zone with it and you play it off the changeup like he so often does, you're going to get dominant results. And you're going to dominate right-handed bats, as he's done. You know, when righties are going up there, they're all sitting. They're waiting for his off-speed, and then he goes to his fastball late in the count. It's like, it's tough to hit that. And then, you know, I think, which is part of the reason he's been so successful of late, is that curveball and changeup. His changeup and his curveball have been a good pairing to go to against lefties. You know, the changeup, he's been going away with that pitch to lefties. It's got great drop. And then that curveball, dropping that in backdoor, sometimes going inside to lefties with it. He's been effective to lefties recently. On Tuesday here, Texas lefties went 1 for 9 with a double, struck out 3 times. Over his last 3 starts, left-handed bats have a 182 batting average with a 242 slug against Will Warren. So I don't think it's a coincidence that during that span of those 3 starts, he's allowed just 3 earned runs in 18 innings. It's an ERA of 1.5. And I know Texas has a bad lineup, but the A's are, you know, they have the 11th best offense via OPS plus. And who else did he face? The Seattle Mariners have the 6th best offense. So he's been getting it done. You got to give the kid credit, and you got to give Boone there some credit and the Yankees for sticking with the kid and giving him a legitimate shot. You know, they gave him the shot out of camp. It was a rough go for him at the beginning. And when he hit that rough patch, they didn't just give up. They didn't listen to Twitter and give up on a young player because he wasn't giving you immediate results. No, they stuck with him because they know the talent's always been there. They know the peripherals were pretty good, and he's not going to continue to be perfect like he's been or damn near in his last 3 starts. He's going to have more rough patches. But I think something we need to realize is young players you need to have patience with them. You know, progress is never linear. It's not always linear, I should say. Progress is not always linear. So when it comes to a guy like Will Warren, I don't think he's going to be an ace. I know people love to use the Michael King comparison. I'm more like, I see that in the mechanics and the pitch mix. Clark Schmidt, in terms of upside, might be a better comp. You know, I think he could be a middle of the rotation arm if he hits his ceiling. But there is a lot of room for improvement. So it was a very nice job by Will Warren. It's been fun watching him. He now has 5 tips of the cap on the year. So good for Will Warren. And the Yankees pitching staff as a whole has really looked good. You know, it's looking elite. The last 30 days, the Yankees are 3rd in ERA. Overall in the season, 7th in ERA. Their bullpen ranks 9th. Their rotation ranks 7th. Overall, as a collective unit, their pitching staff is 8th in WAR, 2nd in strikeouts, and 8th in ground ball percentage. So, you know, the idea is going into October, you want 3, maybe 4 good starting pitchers with a great back end of the bullpen. And the Yankees, at least on paper, have precisely that, again, with reinforcements hopefully coming. Luis Gil, Jake Cousins. Hopefully Fernando Cruz is just 15 days and done. Clark Schmidt has been good since he's been back. Ian Hamilton's been up and down, but if you want something positive, the underlying stuff with Ian Hamilton is still very good. It's just that he's losing the zone right now. He's putting a lot of traffic on the bases. But obviously, you got a long way to go. But if I were to tell you entering the season that this Yankees pitching staff, rotation, bullpen, top to bottom, would look this good without Garrett Cole, you take it. Especially with the way that the rotation looked at the beginning of the season when you had Carrasco and Stroman and Warren struggling and Schmidt wasn't back and you had Devin Williams blowing saves left and right. They've steadied out. You know, Rodon's had a very great season. He's now put together 7 consecutive really good starts in a row. Max Fried has been the American League Cy Young so far. Every single start he's made outside of opening day has been great. Will Warren has picked it up in May. Clark Schmidt looks good. 5 of his 6 total outings have been pretty good. His last 3 outings have all been quality starts. And Ryan Yarbrough is doing a great job when he gets called on. And then you go to the bullpen. They've been really good. Again, Devin Williams is picking it up. He's commanding the fastball more. He's getting some more swing and miss. Luke Weaver has been outstanding. Just talked about him. Johnny Lasagna has had a few scoreless outings. Mark Leiter's been pretty good. He's been shaky here and there. He does flirt with some disaster. Lets some inherited runners score. But at the end of the day, he's got a 270-something ERA. He's got that swing and miss splitter. He's commanding it well. The curveballs are dropping in there for strikes. He's using the sinker to get ground balls. He's now going to step into that Fernando Cruz role. In the meantime, again, Ian Hamilton does need to step up. But overall, I think it's been a very strong pitching staff as a collective. You know, I do have a couple of concerns, of course. What's going to happen with that number 5 spot the rest of the regular season? You know, are we just going to wait until Heel returns and use Yarbrough and try to get these days off to help us go to a 4-man? I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see what they do in the bullpen in terms of left-handed pitchers. They no longer have Tyler Matzik. Tim Hill has been kind of shaky. And I think velocity is something we've talked about a lot already this year. That's the one thing I really wish the Yankees had more of. Again, Luis Heel can obviously help that. And Johnny Loizaga, having him back is big time for that bullpen. Getting some velocity in there because it's not a bullpen with a ton of velo. But Johnny Lowe in there with that 2-seam fastball and 98 miles an hour coming into a right-handed batter, that's a really strong pitch to hit. It's a tough pitch to hit. And you complement that with his curveball. He can go backdoor with that changeup. But the velocity is what I love. Having a guy like Johnny Loizaga, whose velo is not all the way there yet. He's, been around 95 to 98. He's usually a guy who sits 98 to 100. But yeah, it's a big boost to have someone like that back who can blow a fastball by a hitter. Even though he's not always been a big strikeout guy, he gets ground balls because of his pitch mix, and he can rack up a strikeout. So it's nice to have Loizaga back, and again, this pitching staff is really starting to put things together here. I want to talk about Aaron Judge because I'm tipping my cap to Aaron Judge. In a series where not much offense was produced, it was a modest offensive series. There wasn't much. I feel like Judge was the best position player of them all. Could have maybe won Grisham, Bellinger, maybe Rice, Volpe. I don't know. Felt like Judge put up the best numbers. And even in a modest series for Judge, he goes 3 for 10 with a homer, 3 RBIs, a couple of walks, stole a base, scored 2 runs. So, not bad to have a 10-17 OPS in a down series. Hit the shortest home run of his career in this series. Also picked up the game-tying base hit that led to the Dominguez home run an inning later. Played some good right field this series. Stole a base. Said that. But yeah, Judge has been raking. His average has dipped all the way down to 398. So there is that. But no, he's been raking, and that's the formula, right? Aaron Judge, a little bit of Paul Goldschmidt. Those two guys you kind of want leading the way up top with the other guys contributing, right? I think that's got to be the idea outlook for the Yankees if they want to make a run, and it's this offense that carries them. It's got to be Judge and Goldie up top with the other guys contributing. Like the non-stars in this lineup, they're going to have their ups and downs. They're not going to be consistent every day. That's what makes Judge Judge. But the idea is to have a good amount of those guys on at the same time. right? That was why, without Juan Soto, the Yankees used their cash to go after guys who could fill out the rest of the lineup with depth and balance. And as critical as I've been, they've done that so far. They have 4 everyday bats that have an 850 OPS or better. They have 7 everyday bats with a 750 OPS or better. You know, you look at guys like Cody Bellinger, start of the season, really slow. He's been coming alive. His last 22 games entering today, a 345 batting average and a 1066 OPS. 6 home runs, 7 doubles, 17 RBIs, 12 walks. He had a 15-game hit streak going before today. And even when he was struggling, the at-bats were never bad. He never looked lost. He's always had a good 2-strike approach. So it was just a matter of time before he ran into a hot streak. And now you look at his overall numbers, and they're where you'd expect someone like Cody Bellinger to be. He's a big piece. To have a lefty masher like that come in here, and if he can sustain an OPS over 800 this year, that's a big deal for the Yankees, who are going to need that insurance. You look at a guy like Jason Dominguez, who's been very productive to where he's moved up to the 5th hole, depending on which, type of pitcher's on the mound. Dominguez has been really productive this month. He's been productive for the Yankees, man. The talent has clearly been there. Everybody sees the talent. I think that's obvious. That's been established. The speed, the athleticism, that makes him great on the bases. I think there's a ceiling there I know he's not been good at all in left field. I still do think there's a ceiling to where he can at least be average. Because if you've got speed and if you have a strong arm, I'm not going to give up on you being an average outfielder in your rookie year. Tell me what you think it is that is. If you think Jason Dominguez is never going to be a good left fielder, I need to know what it is specifically that you think will prevent him from developing into an average left fielder. Because I can't just say that yet. I need to know what you think won't improve. Why you think something won't improve. If he has speed, if he has an arm, I think that at least grants him some time to develop and grow into his own. But he's never going to be known for his defense. He's going to be known for what he does at the plate. And I really like what I'm seeing from Jason Dominguez at the plate. I think he's got a good eye up there, drawing his walks. I think he sprays the ball around nicely. He'll pull his home runs. He'll pull some singles through the left side of the infield, or the right side of the infield. But you'll see him hit those line drive doubles in the opposite field gap. He's got a ton of left-handed power. Above average exit velo numbers, elite hard hit rate, elite bat speed. He mashes fastballs, but he's also starting to punish those hanging off speed pitches now, right? On the season, his slugging numbers against off speed and breaking have been much better. That's something he's not always thrived on in the past, but he's taking advantage and he's punishing bad breaking balls. Just like you saw that walk-off home run he hit. Bad breaking ball, middle of the plate. He capitalized, punished it 400 feet to the upper deck. So, obviously, there's still a bit, he's still a little boomer bust right now up at the plate, which is normal for a rookie to have. It's normal for a rookie to have inconsistent plate discipline and the pitch recognition not being outstanding. It's going to lead to some of those boomer bust stretches. And that's backed up by the metrics. I mean, look at his peripherals. His walk rate is very great. But he also has very poor chase rates and whiff rates, which is odd, right? But that means he's either doing a really good thing or a really bad thing up there, right? But overall, he's been a productive hitter. His numbers on the year are productive, especially as a left-handed bat, where he's batting .308 entering today. .308 as a lefty, a .402 on base, .527 slug, and a .929 OPS as a lefty hitter. I think he's legit as a left-handed hitter, and eventually I think the Yankees will go that way. And when they do, I think people will start to actually realize it, and they'll get louder. It will get louder on how good of a hitter he is if they just let him bat lefty. But Dominguez has been doing his job. Anthony Volpe, I feel like Anthony Volpe has been getting a ton of shit, and sometimes it's granted. But I feel like at the same time, people aren't recognizing he's been fine this year. Overall, I think he's been fine. Like, I know, like, if you think that Volpe's going to become Jeter and this next Derek Jeter, like, I think you were fooled by the Yankee propaganda machine. If you bought into any of that, you fooled your own self. You played yourself. Congrats. But if you're able to temper your expectations and you're not being unrealistic with it, and you just say to yourself, can he just be an above average bat? I think that's still a possibility. You know, in this series, he had 3 hits, a double, a triple, and a base hit. On the season, Anthony's on-base percentage is .322. That's 29 points higher than it was last year. He's 72nd percentile in walk rate. That wasn't the case in the past. He's 92nd percentile this year in chase rate. That was not the case in the past. I feel like he's not getting enough credit for that. His first 2 seasons, consistently chasing breaking balls out of the zone. Consistently. This year, he's done a much better job of laying off those pitches and waiting for those fastballs that come in a zone, that come inside the zone, so he can punish it. He's raking against fastballs, which was like a narrative that he wasn't at a point this year. Just because he went through a couple of games where he wasn't hitting fastballs, that became a whole storyline. He's always been able to hit a fastball. His slugging percentage as a whole this year is .432. That's 68 points higher than it was last season. His bat speed, his exit velo numbers, they've taken a big leap. He's swinging harder and he's hitting it harder because of that. He has a 113 OPS plus, which is 27% higher than it was last year. And obviously 13% better than league average. So if this is what Volpe becomes, I think we should all take that as a win. Because I don't think he's ever going to become that perennial all-star hitter. I think that ship has sailed. But if you temper your expectations and you come back down to reality, for an elite defensive shortstop to put up above average offense with great base running, it's a win. Right? Now, he's going to be streaky. That's part of his game. So his lows are going to feel like his entire season's a low when he's in that bad stretch. He'll have at-bats that are really bad. Like last series when he had the bases loaded a number of times in the Subway Series. Couldn't get the job done. So the at-bats aren't always consistent. Which means maybe he's just not best suited for the middle of the order, and he's probably not. Right? Maybe if he was batting 8th or 9th, there would be less scrutiny when he doesn't get the job done. But at the same time, the Yankees are putting him there because he hits lefties really well. So I think when there's a lefty on the mound, I don't mind Volpe hitting 5 and 6. But when there's a righty on the mound, that's when people start to get, frustrated with it because he'll leave the bases loaded or something like that. At the same time, who do you put there? If you want to stagger, you can't really swap them out. You want to put Peraza 5th, and then if you don't stagger, then now you're creating a lefty lean for the bullpen. So I just think overall, Anthony Volpe's been a productive bat, despite the noise. And then you got Trent Grisham, who's still going. Has he slowed down a little bit? Of course. He wasn't going to put an 1,100 OPS up. Ben Rice has been giving you outstanding production. Hit that left-on-left home run this series. His slugging percentage is above 500 against lefties this year. He was taking some third base reps. We'll see where that goes when Stanton returns. If Stanton returns, we'll see. So, yeah, the offense is deep. The offense is getting the job done. And it's another reason why I think this team is built for October. I like what I see. So, they have a chance to really get hot now. Because they've got a 9-game West Coast trip coming up. You got 3 against Colorado starting tomorrow, which is a must-sweep series. Must-sweep. Then you got 3 against the Angels. Then you got 3 against the LA Dodgers in your first series against them since the World Series to end this West Coast trip. So it should be a fun one. But, yeah, one thing's for sure, you have got to sweep. No 2 out of 3. You got to sweep, and you have to sweep them pretty assuringly. The Rockies are terrible. They have 6 wins. It's almost June, folks. Sweep the Rockies and make this 4-game win streak 7. So, folks, with that said, we are going to wrap this one up when we return from break with our trivia question. And that will be that. Stay with us here on the podcast, episode 868 of BD4. We'll be right back. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune into our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. Okay, welcome back to the show. Episode 868 of the podcast. We're going to wrap this one up here with our trivia question, and that will be that. Let's get to it right now. All right. So, I was going to do this one for the Subway series, but we couldn't get to that episode. So, I'll save it for this one. Name the 2 teams beaten by the Yankees in their back-to-back World Series sweeps in 1938 and 1939. All right, name the 2 teams beaten by the Yankees in their back-to-back World Series sweeps in 1938 and 39. So, that's what we got here for this one. With that said, we're going to wrap it up. The Yanks sweep the Rangers. They win 5 consecutive series, hoping to make it 6. With the terrible Colorado Rockies coming up. So Aaron Judge, I was asking a couple people about this. Aaron Judge has 16 home runs right now. Coming off a pretty modest series. Perfect time for him to get hot. Going up against the worst pitching staff in Major League Baseball. Inside the most hitter-friendly ballpark in baseball. 16 home runs right now. Can he leave this series with 20 home runs? That's a question we'll ask. That's a question we'll end on. Can Aaron Judge hit 4 home runs in this series? And To have 20 home runs in late May would be friggin' hilarious. So, yeah, that's going to be something to watch. All right, people. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'll see you soon. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.